This is a twisted story. The story of my 2 weeks of procrastination. My esteemed guests, I'm so sorry you had to wait for this video because I was being a little bitch. I want to preface this by saying I encourage everyone to buy the source material of the manga they're reading or want to read. To use a subscription service so that the mangaka in question can receive their commission and adequately amass popularity to prevent the unfortunate event of not having your favorite translated into English. There are obviously a lot of factors that go into translating manga, so there could be 1,000 other reasons for why I couldn't get my hands on a copy I can actually, read. But the couple I'm going to speak about here, I've been low-key obsessing for the past month. My Home Hero. Wow, I wasn't expecting to be so invested in this manga, because occasionally when I sit down to read manga, I can get into it about halfway through, and then I just stop to read the Winky if it gets too boring. Lately, since the start of 2020, the only good thing to come out of all this commotion is that I have more patience to fully enjoy or dislike manga. One of these stories I've been getting into is My Home Hero, and wow, this is good. It boils down to salaryman Tetsuo Toso, who is willing to do just about anything to protect his family. Like, imagine Taken, but Liam Neeson has to prevent her from being taken, and the mom is actually useful. Like, seriously, she really puts in the work to get her daughter to safety, and you have to give her credit for not being one of those parental figures that kind of just sit and wait for their families to, quote unquote, go back to the way they used to be. And boy, does this mom deliver on her statement when she's trying to protect her daughter and her husband. The first chapter really kicks off what's to be expected throughout the entire manga. The father discovers his daughter Reika is being abused by her boyfriend and tries to get to the bottom of it, not knowing that her boyfriend's a part of like some big crime syndicate. And what I love about it is how the dad reacts to these situations, because he's so calm in situations where I'd probably just shit myself. Don't believe me? Okay. Take this frame right here. Look at his face. He's just been asked to, essentially give the syndicate blackmail on himself by chopping up a dead body in the trash can on film. Tetsuo essentially takes the stance of, I want my family to be safe, and if I stress about it, that'll get me nowhere, which births this interest within the fans of the manga on this guy becoming the crime boss of sorts at the manga's finish due to the way he's handling these fucked up circumstances. And God, I wish this was translated into English. I want to buy all the volumes. I want to give the author all my love because I just love this. I wish there was merchandise for it, but sadly there probably is never going to be merchandise for it because I think the volume stopped, and I have to thank and praise and appreciate My Hero Scanalations for even translating this anyway. Gotta hand it to people that are doing God's work by translating these Japanese manga that will probably never be translated by Viz Media or Kondanchi, because I really enjoy reading manga, and some of the newer, more, nuanced manga you won't find translated. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I'm not the only one that's fucking annoyed by having to try and find a manga that's nobody has read it in order to receive that feeling of, damn, this was a really good story and it wasn't spoiled to me by someone just flapping their gums left and right. Now that we've got that subtle aggression out of the way, it's time to move on to the next one, which I was really confused about the outcome, but I guess that's just my fault for not really zeroing in on the subtext they're presenting me in the story, even though that could be interpreted a different way. So, to the unheard of BL manga Stigmata Seikon Sosa. While the last one is pushing 11 volumes, this is only one volume with, I think, 6 or 7 chapters, but the premise is nice to see, I guess. Stigmata has to do with a certain point in Christianity where people spontaneously exhibit these wounds that are said to come from the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Please don't quote me on that. I'm doing minimal research at best, but that's what the word stigmata means. The story itself goes into a man, Asuko Minami, who has what everyone describes as a unique constitution. He senses the lingering thoughts of murder victims and experiences the circumstance under which they died through his own body in a reaction very similar to Stigmata. He crossed paths with the superintendent of the Metropolitan Police Department, and the superintendent takes him in because what I thought was a senpai kyohai relationship within the workplace wasn't that actually. He's used to further advance investigations via the superintendent, but toward the end you start seeing a little romantic subtext that otherwise wouldn't be romantic had you not finished it to begin with and reread it. I think the presentation and the art style is phenomenal. The author Takahashi Hidebu, he's really good. There's a sequel called Stigmata Akon, and there's another one that I've read. It's also historical, romance yaoi Yuki to Matsu. I think my favorite part of the manga is when they manage to slip that under me, even though I think I'm fairly good at detecting whether or not someone's in love with someone else, especially if it has anything to do with BL or yaoi. So if you want to read something short about crime, mystery, and artistic depictions of blood, I recommend it. The last one we'll be delving into isn't manga, but an anime that I heard off of a certain podcast, and I kind of want to die. Like, I kind of just want to lay down and disappear like they said I would. Cause Bokurano is not for the faint of heart. There are seriously messed up things that happen in that anime, and if I wasn't gripping my chair, then I was gripping my face because oh my god, some of the episodes were difficult to push through. There are a lot of backstories within this show, one of them having to do with a girl that falls in love with her teacher, and I'm not gonna spoil any more, but that one is fucked. But I think my favorite part about the show is the overarching theme between this boy named Yushiro and his sister Kana, and I really love that part. Like, you don't understand. I think I was only watching the show for those moments. And while the CGI is pretty telling for the time, I think that even if it was slightly more difficult to watch, there is no one on this earth that can convince me. If you saw that giant black robot mech just suddenly start phasing into existence, you would not feel instant fear. As much as I would like for you to watch Bokurano, the manga is completely different toward the end, and I found an article where the director said that he wasn't happy with what they did with the original manga and adapting it toward the anime. So I really recommend the manga if you want to see the director's vision for what he wanted to do, which would essentially be the vision that author Mohiro Kito wanted to do with the original manga. I'll link the article in the description, but with that aside, I'm pretty sure that's it for the entire month. Fuck, wait, you guys should read Record of Ragnarok. That shit is awesome. I didn't include it for this month, but because the chapter didn't come out, but I think you should actually read it. They have fucking anime fights, Zeus fighting Adam. It's really good, and I think you should read it. Have I mentioned that you should read it? The series is written by Fukui Takumi and Umemura Shinya. I hope I'm not butchering that, but it was illustrated by Aji Chika. So those three people have been working to create something so amazing that I think everybody should at least read a couple chapters of. And with that, I'm finally done. Thank you for listening to all these ramblings of me reading manga for the past month. I haven't really been into anime since, a couple months before this because I was trying to finish school. Now that I've escaped that cesspool of creativity sucking nightmare, I can disappoint my grandma through college, which is fine and all because I got it for free. That's the end of this video. I'm actually pretty glad that I've managed to keep up with my schedule. I think I'll be out with another video in the next week, maybe the next 2 weeks. Maybe this video might be delayed another week. It's like the 15th right now, but I suck at editing, so it's gonna take me a little bit to get the way I wanted it to by the time I wanted to post it on YouTube. I hope you guys like the voiceover. My phone camera broke, and you can pay me to use my shitty webcam. I'll try to bring the heat next week with something fun. I hope you guys can appreciate these goodies the way I did, but comment below if you thought differently, or if you just want to say hi. Take a gander at that like button, show it some love too. Feel free to come talk to me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. I'm open on anything at the moment, especially on Instagram to shout out yo _caps, because he drew me a chibi drawing to use in my video, and I think it's really, really cute. And I guess with that, this video has closed its curtains. Goodbye!